Hi, it's Dwyer. It is July the 10th, 2022. GamblersAdvisory.com, a free site. DigitalAssetLife.blogspot.com, a free cryptocurrency site. Let's talk crypto. Let's talk Celsius. But first, remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Now, bear with me. I was on the road for a few days. I came back with a nasty cold. I'm just going to try to work through it. Now, if you, like me, are a Celsius depositor, be afraid. Be very afraid. It turns out some of the people behind the curtain, some of the people who actually own parts of Celsius, are being kept out of the loop, or at least believe they're being kept out of the loop. They haven't even been told what the whole is, whether it's a few $100 million, whether it's a few $1 billion. In other words, people behind the curtain are being kept in the dark, and they're not happy about it. Simon Dixon of Bank to the Future, his group, a group of high net worth, highly qualified individuals, own about 5% of Celsius. I can tell you that when I heard that Simon Dixon was involved in Celsius, I was reassured that the outfit was credible. Right? Dixon has an excellent reputation in the crypto space. Well, understand that Dixon is a repeat player. His mantra, and you'll see it on Twitter, is hashtag depositors first. Right? He wants to make sure, as someone who's been in the crypto space since 2010, that the depositors getting their money back, if there are solvency issues, is the top priority. Right? He understands that if you're a multimillionaire in crypto, you want the space to maintain credibility. You don't want to be associated with projects that can't pay back what was promised. Right? So, understand too, Dixon has been around long enough and has been involved in enough projects where he helped Bitfinex through their liquidity crisis after that site was hacked. Now, Dixon, who was astonished by the lack of compliance to proper protocol, understand he was involved in the Series A financing of Celsius, and his group had certain contractual rights. And those contractual rights were not adhered to by Alex Mashinsky and current management. Right? So Dixon, who of course wants to see Celsius succeed because he's not just an equity holder, he's actually a depositor himself. He started raising concerns. Right? He started complaining. He wanted guarantees that the depositor's money was safe. He wanted to know the amount of the whole. Now understand, here it gets interesting because FTX's Sam Bankman-Fried, according to reports, did some investigation into Celsius, had some talks with Celsius, and allegedly was told that the whole was $2 billion. Right now, let me just say, I know $2 billion is a lot of money in the real world. Right? It's not as much money as you think in the cryptoverse. There's some players who have a lot of liquidity. There's some whales who would love to have a piece of the action. Well, Sam Bankman-Fried allegedly was told that the hole was $2 billion, and he lost interest in pursuing Celsius. Well, what's staggering is the fact that it appears that Sam Bankman-Fried was told more than owners of Celsius like Bank to the Future. So, after Simon Dixon, and we have this from a good source, Simon Dixon has started giving interviews. After Simon Dixon started raising questions, right, about the risks that depositors were facing, the hole that Celsius was facing, he was offered a board seat. Now, he believes he was offered the board seat to shut him up. Because when you're on the board, you have a certain degree of fiduciary responsibility. Confidential matters need to stay confidential. You can't speak out. Right? So, Simon Dixon is so upset. He turned down the board seat, and he now wants Alex Mashinsky out as CEO. Right? This 5% holder of Celsius didn't get the reassurances that should have been quick, that depositors were going to get their funds back. And Dixon not only wants Mashinsky out, he believes the only way to get transparency, the only way to get transparency is by filing a Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Right now, you need to question everything. Let me just point out, Celsius has been deleveraging significantly. They were able to pay off their debt to the Maker DeFi protocol. But you need to understand that, according to Decrypt, Celsius still has a debt of $258 million, split between the Compound DeFi protocol and the Aave DeFi protocol, in borrowed DAI and USDC. Right? So, right now, they're deleveraging. According to reports, they've already paid $100 million toward Compound and Aave. Right? I believe that excludes the 258. They've gotten the number down to $258 million. Again, I know it sounds like a lot of money. It's really not. Right? So, Simon Dixon believes that Alex Mashinsky doesn't want to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, because if he does, there would be transparency, and the transparency would show irregularities. Right? The transparency would show that without proper licensing, Celsius got involved in cryptocurrency mining, that Celsius is operating outside of just being a bank, and risks having the SEC come in and say, hey, you're operating a security business, there's an expectation of profits, you need to be regulated. Dixon is flatly saying that the outfit needs new licensing, it needs new management. He's lost confidence in current leadership. Right? So, let's hope this blows over. The one message to take away from all of this is that there's an opaqueness, a lack of transparency behind the curtain. People with equity interests aren't being given inside information. Third parties, Sam Bankman-Fried, are receiving information that equity holders aren't receiving, and that's disturbing. Now, I hope Celsius makes it. I hope Mashinsky and Dixon are able to mend their differences. But I need for the Celsius people to also realize, given that Celsius has been able to pay back Maker and is in the process of paying back Aave and Compound, that there is a distinct possibility, as lawsuits now are coming out, right? And we're finding out that money was given to at least one group to try to boost the DeFi earnings, a group that wasn't disclosed to the public. What we're finding out is that Celsius really struggled to provide the necessary yield to depositors. And there is a distinct possibility that Celsius, if it is able to avoid filing for bankruptcy, still ends up with new leadership, right? As it is, they already have new board members. So let's keep an eye on this together. Just understand, the situation is opaque. The information is limited. Some insiders looking for assurances that the depositors would be fully compensated have not received them. Again, on Twitter, look up hashtag depositors first. Track Simon Dixon tweet, TWITT, one word, Simon Dixon twit, TWITT. Look up his account in close to real time. He's expressing his concerns with other Celsius depositors. Right now, folks, it's not a pretty picture. That's how I see it. Let me hear from you. This could go either way. You could wake up one day and Celsius could be in Chapter 11, which is a reorganization, not a liquidation. Right? Celsius could be in Chapter 11. You could find out that Celsius is on top of their financial situation with a very small shortfall, or you could find out that the shortfall is actually in the billions of dollars. Right? The situation right now is too opaque to get a good reading on it. That's how I see it. Let me hear from you. I hope you leave your comments in the comment section of this YouTube video. Thanks for stopping by.